Yeah, like I know one or two things, but no. In all seriousness, I guess we'll do some work. But no, it's exciting. I kind of drag my feet to say that here, but it was a really good event. Just referring to Microsoft Inspire 2023. We'll share some of our takeaways, some of our key action items that we'll be focusing on this year, things that we'd suggest that you follow suit, pair with us to work on, as these seem to be the Microsoft strategies for the year. So we'll cover all of this. The next little bit, as we get going, we'll do a quick little round of intros. So I am James, guy in the middle of the screen here, product sales managers for all thing modern work. So I get the help from training enablement, maybe more technical questions. We'll loop in our colleague Sam, but essentially anything modern work, sales forward, you can definitely look to me, and I'll let Alex, or maybe Steph and Alex rather, introduce yourselves.
Sure, I can get to it. So I'm Stephanie. I'm the product manager for the Dynamics and Power Platform business. So I'm usually more behind the scene. It's not with me that you're going to deal on the day-to-day for any sales or motions, but I'm always there in the background to help out. And today I'll talk to you about the highlights for the Dynamics piece of it.
And I'm Alex Laflamme. I am the head weather vane for Microsoft changes at Sherweb. Because some of you may know, the changes is the only thing that's constant with Microsoft. So I make it my business to understand all of these changes and try to help partners maximize benefits when it comes to the different partner programs, the cashbacks, the incentives, all of those benefits.
Absolutely. And for both, again, Steph being a little bit more behind the scenes, I can assure you, if you've done any type of business in Dynamics, Steph has at some point or another been a really, really instrumental part of that. And likewise, Alex on the partner program, Microsoft changes, like he says, it's just seemingly every day or two, Alex is like, oh, here's this, what's new. So yeah, thank you both for keeping us on track. And hopefully all of you have a chance to get to meet these folks and work with them a little bit closer. So here's what we have in store. Generally, we'll have our little housekeeping slide here. So the common questions we usually get here. So yes, this will be recorded. You'll be able to refer back to this at a later date. The content or the deck will be shared, as will the links. We do have many live links throughout the presentation today. Otherwise, though, if we are looking at the agenda, we'll kick it off to Steph, because ladies first, and Business Apps has a lot of really fun stuff coming. We'll jump into modern work. We'll share some of our insights, so what we collectively would deem to be the approach for the year upcoming. And then finally, just some general thoughts. Again, I think why I really appreciate Sherweb and the role that I get to hold here is that we get to be human. There's a lot of stuff, and Inspire has a lot of really great and inspiring and wow and super polished performances. We're a little bit more human. We love the perform as well, as you could tell me, you could see the way I'm just chatting over here. But being honest, being real, and just kind of being more human again. So we'll close it off with our general thoughts. In the meantime, if any of you had attended Inspire, any of the sessions, you wanted to share any of your thoughts or feedback, we would definitely and absolutely invite you to do so. We'll call out some of the more popular ones near the end of the presentation today as well. With that being said, throw it over to you, Steph.
Thank you. So we'll get started with the highlights from the session, all about the business apps portion. There's a lot of cool announcements, so hopefully you got excited and already heard of it, but I'll cover them just to make sure you understood what they were all about. So the first one was the announcement of process mining in Power Automate. I know if you're not too technical, or process mining can sound very scary and not for you, but it's actually very promising, and I can't wait to put my hands into it. For process mining in Power Automate, what it means is actually making the process mining so simple, because Copilot does it for you. So you no longer need a technical expertise and hours and hours and hours of analysis by an expert, because Copilot will do it all for you. So this is going to be very groundbreaking and a very cool tool for a lot of businesses. to help improve and optimize their processes, automation, and whatnot. So that has also impacts on licensing updates, because this new feature, if I can say, then means a few changes for other licensing. So you might recall there was a Power Automate per user with attended RPA. This is actually being kind of replaced and restructured. So now the part of the automated RPA goes under Power Automate Premium license. So a name change for this one. And you now have the Power Automate process, which includes the process mining features of it. But note that if you have the Power Apps per user, this one also has a rename, because Microsoft loves to rename things. So this one has been renamed to Power Apps Premium, and it includes the mining processes in it. And for those of you who are more technical, you may wonder, what is capacity like? There is a very decent amount of capacity to get started, but there's also an add-on license to add more capacity if you need to do some very heavy lifting tasks. So a lot of all of the details of licensing are obviously already in the licensing guide, because those are all changes that are already live, so you could get started with it now. And if you want to have more information on how to unfold all of this for your clients, you can always reach out to me and my team. We can help you navigate through these new licenses and all the renames, because even myself, I still get confused. All the name changes sometimes you forget which one has changed and which one hasn't. So definitely don't be shy to reach out to us, but definitely look into it. It's very promising for process mining. Another update is the Microsoft Sales Copilot. This is another rename or rebrand in this case. This is previously known as Viva Sales. Some of you might be very familiar with it. Viva Sales is a standalone license, but it's also included under the Sales Enterprise and Premium licenses. So this is just a name change for now. So it means that if you had Viva Sales or the Dynamics Sales Enterprise or Premium license, you now own Sales Copilot. So you will see a logo and name change in the application, and it has no impact on your day-to-day activities. But what it means is that more Copilot features will be rolled out. So you can already see them in preview, and they will hit general availability on September 1st, so very soon. And it's very exciting because I feel like for a long time, Viva Sale was kind of the precursor of Copilot, but it hadn't had any new features updated in a long time compared to the other products. So now with this rebrand also comes a lot of new features and more down the pipeline. So this is going to be a great way if you're not already leveraging Sales Copilot. I would highly suggest it for your sales team. It really speeds up their work. Some kind of new features that are coming is the auto-generated opportunity summary. So when you're typing up an email, you can get Copilot to help you just summarize what the opportunity was about, and just get more assistance when creating any email or communication with a client. And also it's going to help you prepare for calls with your clients. So it can give you just a general account summary. What were the last interactions? Is there any quotes pending? Like, what are the activities ongoing? It gives you a quick recap so that you're up and running, ready for a call, and don't need to do this research yourself. So it's a very big time saver. And we can just expect even more features coming this year. So this is another exciting one. And what's great is that if you already have Viva Sale, now you have Sales Copilot, and it's there for you September 1st. And then here we put a few important resources, but just before I go into the resources, there's actually another highlight just worth mentioning. If you're familiar with the Dynamics licensing, we had the Dynamics 365 marketing license and the Dynamics 365 Insights license. They're now being combined into one offering. So it's going to be called Dynamics Customer Insights, and that's going to be a new license available on September 1st again. And if you're already an existing customer of either or both of the licenses, the marketing one and the insight one, nothing changes for you. You keep it the same functionalities up until your terms end, and then you would be moving on to the new SKU, which combines the power of those two products, which also means savings, because you no longer need to buy the two separate products to get all of the features within one. So another thing to look forward to. And then in here we put a few links, like James said, we'll share with you the links after the presentation, so you can go deep dive into any specific topics. One key reminder for anyone is the business application designation. If you are still working towards getting it, make sure you get up to those 70 points you need to get all the benefits, because they are very valuable. And if you need any support or help towards getting it, well, our team and Alex will be a pleasure to help you make sure that you get ready for it. Another thing that I wanted to highlight is the digital marketing resources. This one is something that most people are not so familiar with, but there's a lot of great marketing content that Microsoft creates, which are digital campaigns for you to promote the different products of Dynamics, and also just do general go-to-market marketing. It's a great resource. So if you've never been there, I would highly suggest that you go in there or bring your marketing team to that website. There's a lot of great content that you could leverage, especially around all of the Copilot readiness marketing content. So those were the key highlights for now. If we move on to what success in FY24 looks like, I would say the main play this year, it's really all about scaling your business operations. And how do you do that? Well, first you need to be ready. This year, I think it's really the year to prepare for everything that's coming. Like you saw with the news of the new licenses, everything is very AI Copilot heavy. That is the way of the future, because it simplifies our work. It helps us elevate our day-to-day activities. So it's going to be all about being ready for it. So if you're not comfortable with AI, I would highly suggest that you deep dive into it. There's a lot of great content. There's learning paths. Microsoft provides a lot of documentation around it. I would highly suggest that you read through it, come to us with questions. We can help you guide yourself into this new world that we live in now with the AI. But definitely, you don't be shy to get to know it, use it yourself internally in your business, and then develop the discussions with your clients, because it's really going to be having great positive impacts for both your clients and your organization, because that's really how you can implement faster a new solution. So that's what's going to help you scale your business, and that's going to be the easy path also towards especially the Power Platform area, where Copilot helps a lot. You don't need to be an expert into coding anymore to have a powerful app helping you, or have automations to help you alleviate the work of your workers. So definitely look into it. If you have any questions, let us know. And if that would be a topic that you would want to have a deep dive webinar or learning session about, please put it into the comments so that we know it would be something that you would be interested in learning more. And lastly, oh, that was it then. Sorry, I thought there was another slide, but that's very my highlights for this Inspire session. And I was very inspired by all the Copilot features that are coming up. I think there's a lot of great ones. So I hope it inspired you too to go into Copilot.
Before we let you go, Stephanie, there was one question in the chat about one of the slides that you have. What is the High Volumes Dynamics 365 Partner Portal?
Yes, so the High Volume program is a Microsoft-backed program where they help you develop your business to be a high volume business, meaning that you have a packaged offering to implement one of the dynamic solution, or it could be a Power Apps, it could be in the Power Platform area too. And you have a pre-packaged offering at like set price so that you can repeat it more rapidly. Because if you know the dynamics world, it's project world, it's time. So the return, if I can say, the length of a project is longer. So with the high volume, the aim is to have a very targeted client, a targeted offering. And Microsoft actually offers you a program to help you understand what it means and how to develop it for your business and then roll it out. So it's a really great program. It's obviously not for every businesses. You need to go into that type of offering. But if you're interested, reach out to me. We can put you in contact. There are cohorts. There's a self-learning path, but we do recommend you join the cohort. It's a group of like-minded people that are put into a class, and you work towards developing your business offerings. So it has great results. We've had a few partners already, and we're seeing the.
Yeah, so if I were to put this in my own words, like Microsoft wants you to set your business up so that it's the equivalent of going through the drive-through window and saying, I want a number 3, and then they'll know that it's fries, a quarter pounder with cheese, and a drink, right?
Yes, that's the I've heard.
Awesome. I think my part is next, unless we have other questions. I don't see anyone. But it's on Modern Work, right? So thank you very much, Stephanie. I've been looking for the equivalent of the team emotes to kind of do applause on, the rebranding of Viva Sales and things like that. But that's not in this webinar. But I do, want to echo those sentiments, especially when it comes to the process mining, which is, again, like anything that you're doing that's redundant, that's repeatable, that doesn't take a lot of thought can now be automated, and finding out what those processes are is no longer something that you have to do yourself, right? It's like you let the program run. It's kind of like very bad example, but whenever they want to do an MRI and then they make you drink this like fluorescent liquid so that on the X-ray it shows where the things. So it's kind of like that. But on the Modern Work side, it's a lot like Stephanie has says. It's all about AI. It's all about Copilot. So James and I are going to share, the different kind of highlights that we've isolated. So I think if you want to start, the next slide is something that's actually already available in preview. So if you're interested in this and you have the right licensing being Microsoft Business Standard or above, so Standard, Premium, and then the E-type licenses will count, you can actually get this right now, no cost, to be added to your organization and to give it a shot. But when it goes into general availability, it will be $5 per user per month. when you look at this, wait, what, Bing Chat Enterprise? Okay, so I've heard about Bing recently, right? I hadn't heard about Bing for many, many years, but I heard about Bing recently because it had the ChatGPT 4 included in it. How is this different, right? Well, if you've used any of the AI tools since the beginning of the year, you have probably been met with either yourself concerns or concerns from other people in your company about what happens with what you're typing in, the results that are coming in, if it's used to train the data, if other people have access to the answers to your questions, if there's any type of security risk or compliance risk whenever you would want to ask things about sensitive data and things like that. This solves all of that because this is a completely independent, secured, linked to your ecosystem solution that you no longer want to blacklist. You want your employees to be able to use the ChatGPT service for work purposes within the context of works without any, again, like potential that the data could be compromised, the data could be used for training, or bad actors would have access to the data, those questions, and things like that. So this is a great way to kind of start using those AI features in a work context, especially right now that it's in preview and that it's free, so you can kind of understand. Especially if you've never done the Bing chat, since it has the GPT in the screenshot, you may be able to see that whenever you have a conversation with the Bing chat, you get to choose if you want it to be more precise, more balanced, or more creative. So you can really kind of get different types of answers for the same type of prompts that you put in. So again, nothing beats giving it a test run, trying it yourself, understanding how it works so that you can find applications for your business. But in
Yeah,
a
I might even
nutshell,
add. Oh,
go right
sorry. I was
ahead.
going
Yep.
to say I might even add to that to say that it actually does provide you with links as well. So it's not just based on its own learning, let's say, on its own
Mhm.
its own data, but it's really going into the web and actually sourcing where the answers are being provided from as well. So
Yeah,
something to
and
corroborate its answers.
yeah, and that was a big plus from the Bing chat versus the ChatGPT, because ChatGPT cutoff date September 2021, not connected to the web. So great for historical data, great for getting them to write a Bing chat enterprise description in the tone of Bob Dylan. But for anything that's happened since then or any links like that, it was lacking. Obviously, there is the paid version now, ChatGPT Plus, that has that link, but you can get this for work purposes. So anything that you do at home for your personal purposes, great, check it out. But for this, it has that framework, that enterprise framework for, again, the controls, the security, the compliance, the access, and all of that. So it's a great step forward into the AI world on the Microsoft ecosystem.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'll follow suit with AI and machine learning, and I'll jump right in. So, surprise, surprise, a real shocking news alert. Another rename from Microsoft here. So this is a project or a service or a solution that was offered just about a year and a half ago. So essentially, it was named Project Orland. It has now been rebranded to be that of Sales Advisor. We did do a webinar last February, about say 6 months ago here in February, co-hosted by Microsoft, where we did dive into Project Orland and some of the benefits. At a high level, it's a customer lifecycle management tool, essentially being able to help you identify opportunities. So who might have a certain propensity to upgrade to business premium, for example, if we see based on web signals that the CTO at the customer side or someone within the customer organization has been Googling, backup solutions or mobile device management or what have you. Well, then Microsoft will be able to collect these signals. Again, they're anonymous signals. There's no personal info in there, but we can see it's tagged to that company. And then they'll be able to advise you and suggest some next steps um, in that customer journey. It can also help to highlight any expiring contracts as well. So it is available through or within Lighthouse as of today. So for all you Microsoft partners, do take it for a spin. There are some really valuable insights in there. We leverage it quite lightly, I'd say, at the moment. But reading between the lines, there's definitely some good stuff cooking, and it's only going to become more and more powerful. Similar to what Steph was mentioning or sharing with us earlier around the sales advisor, not sales advisor, sales co-pilot. I'm so sorry, Steph. Um, co-pilot, sorry. So again, it's going to help to simplify your task. So instead of going out and hunting new customers and combing through licensing and trying to find a room to upsell or to cross sell, well, now you'll have these insights right in Lighthouse. Again, which is a tool that gives you an overview or a top-down view into all of your tenants that are under your management. So super cool feature. Small requirement: there is a business premium requirement from your customers to be able to have them populate through Lighthouse. But otherwise, though, it is a really great. And if your customers are using business premium, do give us a call. Tell us why, and maybe we can help protect them going forward.
I didn't have anything to add to the CSP Sales Advisor, but it is a tool that I would say, like you just mentioned, that complementary to what you're already doing. Don't have your whole sales team based on what the sales advisor is telling you, but if you want to add, some corroboration, some extra things, or maybe some blind spots on hardware, software, on-prem stuff, it's all included in there because it looks at the whole ecosystem. And the ecosystem is growing. As we can see, a couple of very announcements pretty much out of left field. Like nobody, as far as I know, nobody saw those coming. So Microsoft 365 backup and archiving is coming. Should be available in public preview by Q4 of this year. Pricing and packaging will be known shortly after. So until it's actually available in preview, don't ask us how much this costs or when it's coming out because we will not know. But in a nutshell, it does what you would expect it to do, right? So it is a backup service directly from Microsoft 365. One thing that's important about this one is that it does come with the APIs. So if you are using a different backup service, because Microsoft didn't exist before, it can coexist. So I would recommend to go and look at that literature to see how it can connect with your, actual service. Some of the big service providers that we partner with are already on record commenting that it's a good thing, right? So if they say it's a good thing, hopefully you will think about it too. And on the archive part, I think that one is the biggest one, for me as far as like having an impact, because when it comes especially to SharePoint, a lot of larger organizations have run into a very difficult problem, which is storage limits, data limits. And it's incredibly painful to try to move things away from SharePoint into OneDrive when they're supposed to be, create new SharePoint sites and things like that, right? But with the Microsoft 365 archive, anything that's aging or inactive will now be kind of moved into the archive, liberating, freeing up all of that space that it was being used for current data, but still accessible through e-discovery and search and all. So should you need to look at, who accepted the holiday party invitation 3 years ago, you will be able to do a search in the archive, but it will no longer eat up a gig of space on your current SharePoint data. So very, very excited for the archive. The backup, I think it's been a long time coming, but we're going to see how it plays with others. As we had talked, James, it's the initial reflex when you're thinking about backup is about having something completely separate, because if you have your important documents in your house and your house goes up in flames, well, your important documents will go up in flames as well, right? So you don't want to have your backup in the same thing. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Microsoft has it set up to fulfill that initial requirement. Do you know, I don't want to put you on the spot, do you know any more about that, or do you have any take on this?
No, similarly, like at first glance, not something that I was really looking forward to, I guess, or something that I was like, oh yes, please let me back it up in the exact same place. But again, there's more to be known, presumably, right? There's people smarter than me, at least, Microsoft, who are putting out these services. So definitely, security being top of mind, redundancy and then data integrity always being top of mind for them as well. So I know they're going to do it right. I just need to see a little bit more before I'm pulling the bandwagon myself.
Fair enough.
Hey, you wanted honest, we got honest.
Yeah. And then the main item, the first thing I'm going to say, even before saying its name, is that we do not have the general availability date yet. We don't know when it's going into public preview. We don't know when it's going to be available. We do expect with all of these announcements, it should be at some point next year, right? But we have at least one new very important piece of information from Inspire. Copilot for Microsoft 365 will be an add-on, and it will be priced at $30 USD per month per user. This may come a little bit as a sticker shock, right? Like you weren't expecting it to be this high, especially if you compare it to Bing Chat Enterprise, Team Premium, and all of that. We were going much lower entry points. But for this particular thing, I usually talk about the iPhone. Before the iPhone, if you were to spend even $100, $200 on an actual phone, people thought you were crazy. Like, what would you need that for SMS and just talking to people? iPhone came out in Canada, at least was 800, 600 in the US. It was the first time a phone was ever that price. Everyone was kind of panicking, like, what is going on? But then everyone learned to use the iPhone and how much it improved productivity, life. Well, improving is a strong word now, especially with all the studies that are coming out, but that's another discussion. It's just that now when the iPhone 14 comes out and it's $1,500, nobody bats an eye. It doesn't make a headline even in the tech world or anything like that. So I suspect that Microsoft Copilot is going to be so useful that $30 price that we're seeing right now going, oh my God, is going to be a bargain. You're going to want it. Like, have you ever wanted to kind of clone your best employees? Well, this is the next best thing, right? You get them to do 1.5 the amount of work that they used to do. One other thing that we did find out that's very important is since it is an add-on and not an actual plan itself, what kind of base plan you're going to need to have in order for it to work. So the minimum is going to be business standard. So business basic is being excluded, Exchange Online Plan 1 and all of the other minimal licensing will be excluded. So business standard, business premium, it will work. E3 and E5 as well. But when you look into details of the Copilot features and all that, all of those are available in blogs from Microsoft and all of that. You will notice that to get the full experience, you do need M365 E3 and E5. So if you have customers that are on business standard and business premium and they really, really want Copilot and they can't wait to have Copilot, it's to have a conversation with them right now about upgrading their licensing to the enterprise level. Otherwise, they will only have limited access. And as far as we know, there's no, business Copilot, at half price because it's only partial features. It's still going to command that same price. So if you want your customers to have the most for their money, you would want to upgrade to them, because when it comes to M365 Copilot, it does interact with all of the different Microsoft 365 applications. So if you wanted to help with the PowerPoint presentation that you're creating or the Excel spreadsheet that you're going through and you want to get some BI, some insights and things like that, you're going to need to have the E3 or above. If all you're looking for is, help writing emails, help managing your calendar, and making sure you're not missing any important calls or anything like that, you might be able to get away with business standard or business premium for those. But again, at $30 a month, that's going to be a big ask for it to be kind of worth it. So think about those. And I have a lot of other points, to just in AI in general. But one thing I do want to mention for anyone that's getting worried about their jobs and all of that, in all cases, whenever it comes to Microsoft Copilot and all of the AI tools from Microsoft, it doesn't do anything that you wouldn't be able to do yourself. It just does it a whole lot faster. So it's kind of like, are you able to walk from New York City to Boston? Yes, you are. It's going to take you many, many days. But you could drive there instead with the car, and it's going to take you about 5 hours, depending on, traffic and all that. So it's going to get you to the same place that you would be able to get on your own, but a lot faster. It's not going to, get you to fly to the moon, something that you wouldn't be able to do, but anything that you can do a lot faster. So all of the stuff Stephanie was talking about, identifying processes, that would need automation within a customer tenant, you would be able to kind of go line by line, interview everyone, see what they're doing their day to day, and come up with the exact same things that the sales copilot is going to do, but in a fraction of the time. So it's important to start to think about productivity in those terms, that it's not, again, going to make you be able to paint the Mona Lisa if you've never painted before. But anything that you've been able to do that took you X time should now be a lot quicker, a lot faster. For me, the biggest one is going to be the blank page syndrome. I can't wait to have like just templates suggested, getting started. That's going to be great.
Yeah, really exciting, curious, but overly exciting times coming. Good, and so I guess this isn't so much on the AI side. I think now we're gonna get closer to the whether that be resources or our thoughts, and some of yours. Just a reminder that again, like Alex was mentioning, the E3, the E5s will be the focus SKUs. There is a promo right now on M365 E3 running till the end of September, so do reach out, do take advantage of that. It can be used to upgrade, let's say, a business standard, for example. So there are different ways we can help you to leverage this license, again, to keep your customers secure. And let's face it, again, just kind of staying as human as I can here, avoiding headaches, right? Like avoiding some of the extra back and forths that are not to say easily avoidable, but are largely avoidable. So again, so Microsoft has done, again, just to help us in this light here, is mapping out the customer journey, right? So something that they're pretty good at. We touched on, or Steph rather touched on earlier, the resources available from Microsoft, so DMC, the Transform portal, among others, as places where you can find resources, tools, even to help you. And even something like this here, where we see the journey really from the beginning of understanding the need, the demand, to be able to speak to that confidently and competently, to demonstrate it, to win the deal, to deploy, and then to monitor, maintain, and then go back for more, proverbially here. So this kind of roadmap is something I personally really appreciate. It's take that guesswork out of it, take the manual thinking, right? If we're thinking about AI, like this is not so artificial, but really human made. But this is the I here, and these are the steps of a customer journey. So do refer to this and some of the links that are here as
well. And to give you an idea, right? Like most partners, they only do step 3. They're only taking advantage of step 3 right now. So they have the licensing, they're getting the margin, from their provider, and then they're getting the incentives as cashbacks because they're enrolled. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can see in step 1, step 2, where you can, educate your customers, do some assessments to see exactly, what their needs are. And once the deal is won, there's still other things to do. And Microsoft and Inspire did mention that, as far as the security stack is concerned, they're investing 4 times as much as in the prior years. So this is why you can kind of see on this chart, like, up to 30,000 per customer, 50,000 per engagement. So to do the right things and to help your customers, get more secure environments, Microsoft is rewarding the partners for doing that work. Obviously, you have to qualify for all these things, so you probably have to have a conversation with me, but it is out there. And the first step, for us is always to educate our partners to know that there is more than step 3 that you can be doing.
There's awareness, right? And if we're thinking about AI and what's coming, again, I think it's incumbent of us as kind of leaders in the space here. I don't know why I said that, but really as leaders, as shepherds for our customers, it's if we want them to be more efficient and we want them to think of the complete process and to optimize, well, then we as well should kind of eat that dog food. So when we are looking at important resources, so again, very similar to some that Steph had shared earlier. So there is a modern work playbook. So here you can really see Microsoft spelled out, I think in about 15 pages or so. It's surprisingly concise. When I say 15, some people may be off put, but it's surprisingly concise, surprisingly complete, and accessible for what concerns next steps. So definitely do refer to some of these links here. Also transform down at the bottom. So I kind of broken down into the stages here, looking at in terms of getting prepared. So is it enablement, readiness, awareness, even from your own team, to creating awareness, driving demand, and then finally to transform. There are demo environments. There are workshops with pre-made decks that you can pitch. There are customer immersion experiences that you can click and walk through, customer scenarios. So all of this to be able to show. So really, again, that full life cycle here. I just have 3 of the 5, but in broad strokes, here are some of the resources that are available. And for anything else in between, right? Sherweb remains here available, and we'll guide you and we'll point you through. And we probably have some stuff we developed on our own, again, to assist, to make sure you don't miss any of these really crucial steps. There's actually a blog coming out in the next week or 2 here. We're just talking about managing, and I wrote up the blog there, and I was talking about the renewal period, right? So it's January to March is usually kind of the big rush since NCE. It's not too early. Like, start planting those seeds, start getting yourself ready, as Steph mentioned, to the AI readiness that's available through Microsoft. Get your certification, your designations rather. But take these steps, because January is it's a blink of an eye away. If you guys are like me, the time is just just escaping here. So just trying to help you stay ahead of the curve here.
And
nice. So what do we do?
Yeah, on that same note, how do we define success in 2024? I'm going to go a little bit more. I'm going to do the first scenario. You do the second one, right? So we're talking about getting AI ready. We're talking about, building the foundation for this. So even though Copilot is not out just yet, as I just explained before, we now know a little bit as to what the license requirements are. You should start to have conversations with your end customers about their interest in Copilot, how they want to go about it, what they're going to want to use it for, and all of that. And then lead with the hero products, right? If it's again just calendar, emails, things like that, Business Premium is going to be fine plus Copilot. But if they want to do any of the razzle dazzle stuff that we've seen on PowerPoint, Excel, Word, and so forth, E3 is where you want to be. So you want to kind of set that stage for that. And within this, think about other things, perhaps even outside of the Microsoft stack, maybe on the Sherweb stack, with the Office Protect or things like that, on how you can kind of create not the high volume Dynamics 365 that Stephanie was talking earlier, but what is your kind of your ideal package. It doesn't have to be an official bundle, but more often than not, what are you going to lead with on those AI conversations? Which products on which companies are you going to be able to use? And I'm going to have a little bit more on that later with the insights. So go ahead for solution play number 2.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of maybe just a last little or another little reminder in regards to the hero products for the security and Copilot for all things coming. Business Premium and M365 E3 both have promotions ongoing. So again, do reach out. Business Premium is for net new to Microsoft customers, whereas E3 can be from an O365, could be from Business Standard, for example, but these are upgrade eligible. So again, leverage them, right? They're tools. Convert communications is something that's definitely a little bit more near and dear to my heart. I'll refer to a framework that Microsoft had put out. I think this is about a year or 2 ago. It was called Land and Expand. The concept was quite simple. It was either we are looking to increase, let's say on the y-axis. God, I haven't been in school in a long time. On the y-axis, we want to increase efficiency, productivity, and even security. And whereas on the y-axis, here we're going to be looking at efficiency on the y, security on the x. So the idea is that we always want to be looking at a next step. So if a customer is coming in, they're using another email carrier, for example, they're married to it, and they don't want to think about the migration. Well, no worries. We can then start to look at something like Teams Essentials. So let's get that productivity, let's get that collaboration, that communication into their day-to-day, again, unlocking that efficiency. And then from there, we can say, well, if we're looking at Teams Essentials, maybe a Defender for Business would pair nicely with this. So always looking to kind of move up. I don't know if it's flipped or if it's going up or upright is where I'm trying to go here, but essentially want to be climbing that ladder and getting the most value out to our customers. So looking at these Teams products, the converged communications, as an on-ramp. So that can be, again, their intro into technology, into collaboration in the cloud. We can look at Teams Phone if they wanted to maintain some of their existing functionality through their existing carriers, through direct routing, operator connect or other. And then Teams Premium. So this is a new feature, a new solution rather, launched back in March. Essentially giving you some more high production value is the way I'd see it when we're looking at Teams meetings, being able to brand, customize your lobby, backgrounds, even get intelligent recaps. So again, that
Right.
AI, that efficiency, and getting your message across in your brand, in your tone. So Teams Premium can help there. Again, great on ramps, great upsells, and definitely paired reciprocally with the Copilot Business Premium E3.
Yeah,
So these are the focuses for Microsoft for this year. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, and if your customers are still using like non-connected to the cloud phone systems in 2023, it's still okay right now. But with all of these AI tools, some of the features that James just mentioned, intelligent recap, mood, action items, points, and things like that, it's going to start to hurt in 2024 to have a non-connected phone system to the cloud, because you're going to lack all of that extra visibility, all of those extra assets. So it's kind of like you're going to be driving your car, you're only going to be able to see ahead of you, you're not going to have any blinkers, you're not going to have a steering wheel. Like it's going to feel
and when
very
everybody else next to you is driving
exactly.
an airplane, essentially, right? So that's
Yep.
that's really, really good call out there. And again, it's kind of driving home that customer life cycle. I won't drain the slide to use that Microsoft lingo here, but essentially those stages, right? It's understanding, conceptualizing, putting it into place, helping them to achieve or to better leverage on the tool that's there. So again, this is a slide that we'll share with you in the next week or so. So generally, we send out the follow-up emails the next day. We have a lot of really good stuff cooking for FY24 as our FY is approaching the next week or two here. So this will probably be out to you in the next week or so. I digress. Let's share a little bit about what we think is coming, Alex.
Yeah, so we wanted to, give our insights, right, from what we've seen at Inspire, plus what we know about the MSP community. We're talking to partners on a day-to-day basis, and we understand a little bit, not 100%, but we understand a little bit how their customers think and all of that. So these are some insights that could be used as conversation starters when you're approaching talking about AI with your end customers. So you may think like your customers may have some is it like some magical thoughts on how all of this is going to work and it's going to be all seamless, it's going to be great. But as we know, on day one, that's not how things work, right? So the first point, the AI tools will not natively communicate across the technology platforms from day one. So the tool from Google is not going to talk to the tool from Apple, is not going to talk to the tool from Microsoft on day one, as if everything is great. I mean, now 15 years later, you go to the App Store, you can download Office, right? But in 2008, there were no Microsoft products in the App Store or anywhere close or anything like that, right? So that's something to keep in mind if your customers are using right now tools from different technology platforms, from different providers. So they're using, say, Zoom for conferencing. They're using Slack for internal chat. They're using Dropbox for storage. They're using, if they're spread out all across, it's going to start to hurt when those new tools come out, right? So not natively communicate. They will need to be trained as well. So a little bit like we're talking about for the phone thing, right? Like if all of your conversations are done on a platform that's not in the Microsoft stack, and you want to use the Microsoft Copilot or the Sales Advisor or the Microsoft Sales Copilot, it needs to have that data in order to be trained for you. Think of hiring a new personal assistant. They may have, 3 college degrees. They never make any mistakes in spelling or math or anything like that, but they don't know anything about your business on day one. So you want to set up your environment so that the training can happen very, very, very fast. Updates, right? It's going to be brand new technology. It's going to need new updates. It's going to need to have, some some fixes, some 0-day fixes, things like that. What do updates usually do? They break integrations. I don't need to tell you this. You're all MSPs, you know this. So important, if you have multiple pieces, multiple moving pieces, it adds the possibility that things will not work. One thing that's not obvious, my 4-point, is that as we just saw for Microsoft, right, Copilot is going to require some premium licensing. For a lot of your customers, you're going to have the conversation about upgrading their base licensing so that it actually makes it there. This is something that will exist across all those platforms. So if they're using 5 different providers and they want to start using AI, they should expect 5 different upgrades and price increases, which will make your monthly bill exorbitant. So think about consolidation, think about putting everything on the same stack. There was a 5th point that kind of goes along those same line, which is new AI tools will open new vectors that even today we can't even fathom exist for bad actors to exploit. So the more you trust nascent companies, new companies, like little APIs that you've never heard of, the more you are exposing yourself. So obviously, for your personal things, for your trailblazer, go crazy, enjoy yourself. But for your customers' data, it would probably be best to have a very conservative approach and use only, products from known and trusted resources. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Okay,
as
so
far
just
as oh, go ahead.
3 or
Sorry.
4 minutes. Yeah, I was just gonna say we're running
Yeah.
dangerously low here. So maybe
Okay.
in a sentence or two, if you sum this all up.
Yeah, so this on the screen, read this on your own. This is why it's best to partner with Sherweb to get your customers AI ready. So not only the insights that we've talked about, but we can help partners earn those solutions partner designations, all the new AI ones that are going to be coming out, what levers to focus on. James talked a little bit about, business premium, having a promo and things like that. We can really make it very personal to you. If you have specializations you want to attain, if you have certain benefits you want to leverage, or if there's any trainings that you want to attend, we can help with that.
Awesome. Just kind of say the word is what I could tell people I get a chance to speak to here is just tell us where your gap is, tell us where your roadblock is, and that's kind of our job here is just to make your day a little smoother.
Yeah,
So Microsoft also has.
Yeah, some assets available for partners. These are all workable links. The first one, the sales deck, will get you probably most of what you're looking for as far as like little videos and slides that can kind of showcase the actual products themselves.
And yeah, the playbooks and trainings as well. So there too, any training for yourself, for your customers even. Tag us in the stuff we love to do. We have a really great team with lots of really smart people around. So we'll love to just support you. Essentially, is what we get to do here.
Yeah. I don't know if we have much time for the comments from the chats or anything like that. So maybe just like one thought from each of us. I think I already gave way too many thoughts. So just maybe you and Stephanie. And for the questions, we'll include them in the FAQ for anything that we didn't get to answer today.
I'll let you kick it off with with your general thoughts, Steph. I introduced myself first in the beginning, and I still feel bad. So your turn here.
No worries. I'll keep it short. My general thoughts are for Dynamics Copilot is looking very promising. The tricky part is to be on Dynamics cloud versions. So anyone still on premise or going through their migration, you need to make sure to accelerate, or if you have clients that are still hesitant, move them as soon as possible, because otherwise they can't take part into this whole AI movement, because on-prem just doesn't work with Copilot. So definitely move to the cloud is premium on the dynamic front.
Super. Yeah, and I'll go from maybe a zoomed out here, so not looking at their products in particular, but just kind of getting the general tone from Microsoft. Alex touched on a little bit earlier. It's their investment commitment in regards to security, and along with that is the investment into the channel. So both into ourselves in terms of us delivering more SMB masters, more training events in person for you, as well as virtual boot camps with many of our partners, but also Microsoft themselves. Enabling you to deliver trainings to your customers, giving us the customer journey mapped out really by stage and by with a link to each stage. It's almost tricky to get lost through it. So do leverage those. Thank you, Microsoft, for your commitment to us, to the channel. Thank all of you for your commitment and your time invested here today with us. Alex and Steph, whichever sides you're on the recording here. Thank you both, absolutely and always, to Sherweb Webinars for hosting this. Nick and Randy, you guys are awesome. For anything else, please reach out. It'll be a pleasure, as always, to chat with any and all of you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Great one to you.